Hi guys, I'm live, as you guys know, because obviously I am, or you wouldn't be hearing me say that I'm live. I just want to rant a second. Uh, I'm trying a slightly new approach on my channel right now than I had in maybe ever. Is that I'm I don't want to worry about the result. Like if I do this, I get so much of this. If I do this, I get so many views. Or if I block this hater, I get this result. I don't think that's how I want to be remembered. I don't think that's how I want to what I even want to do right now. I just want to be free and let it all flow. So I'm blocked everybody right now. I mean, I'm not saying that's permanent. That doesn't mean I can't block again, but I just unblocked everyone that I have blocked. And I usually, when I go to jam, I get uptight. I get uptight about, oh my gosh, what scale should I try to use here? Or what should be the theme here? Or how am I doing? Or how's my sound? And I just did a jam today, and I just thought, well, let's just let that happen. Let's not worry about the result that much. Let's not think it to death. Let's just, first of all, I know I can play. I mean, say what you want. I know I can play. And I know a little bit about music. At least I know something about music. I don't know. I know more than nothing about music. So why not just pick up a guitar and play, and let's see what happens, and have fun with it. Enjoy the process. Eric Johnson talked about this in his 2006 Anaheim video, and he talked about how he's always sawing BBs, he calls it, and he's always like meticulously working on every detail. And he decided, screw it. You got to have fun too. You have to enjoy the process. Otherwise, I'm not sure what you're doing it for, And I listened to that, and that came out in, I think, 2007. The actual concert came out. That's like 18 years ago. And it's finally hitting me what he was saying back then, It's hitting me the same. I'm not saying I'm Eric Johnson, but I just feel like if I believe in myself, and I know I can play, and I know something about music, why not just let that happen? Why not just play? Why not trust the process? Why not just have fun with it first and let the result be what it is? I can't really control the result anyway. That's the illusion of it. You think you control the results. Maybe you think you can, but in the end, the result's still the result that you can't control. The result is how others receive it, and you can't control that even if you try. So why try? Why not just do you first? And if it gets a good result, that's great. If not, at least you made an honest statement. I'm very transparent on my channel, and usually I mean that in terms of what I say. Like what I say, and what I feel, and what I mean, and all that, and I am. But what about the music itself? I want that to be transparent. I don't want the music to be a ruse while everything else is transparent. I don't want everything except what I made this channel for to be transparent. I want the whole reason I did this channel was music, and yet music is the thing that people get the most uptight about. They gatekeep, as Moderator calls it. That means deciding whether you are right in history, and deciding if you do this song right or not, and did you do it the way the original players did it, and screw that. I'm me. I'm making a statement, and that statement should be honest itself. That statement should be transparent. The music should be transparent. And if people like it, they do. If they don't, they don't. But I'm learning that I can't control that. Even if I'm not transparent, that doesn't guarantee me a good result. So why not be transparent? And plus I want to be transparent. I mean, the music itself should be transparent. It shouldn't be like a long game to get so many likes or views or whatever. Even though views are great, and I'd like to get 5 million views by the end of summer, but I don't know. That's out of my hands. That's above my pay grade, as they say. YouTube doesn't count my views. If I watch a video, it doesn't count it. They know what my IP is, and for some reason they know how to not count my views anyway. So I'm not the one that's going to tally any of that anyway. And plus, I don't binge watch my videos. So, just let the music happen. And I look back and I see the greats of the past, you know, Jimi Hendrix, Yngwie Malmsteen, Eddie Van Halen, they weren't gatekeeping themselves. Jimi Hendrix would say things like, I can't just sit here and worry about what, no, they're thinking this or that over there, or they're thinking that. He didn't worry about that. In fact, he stated that he didn't worry about that. He didn't take time to worry about the press. He didn't take time to worry about what everybody thought about him. He just did him while he was here. And that's as important to me as that. If that's important, then let's show it through the music. Let's show the music let's show what I feel about the music I have in my heart right now, and play that rather than some kind of, I'm going to tweak it a little here or there so people will like it or think it's a this or that. I don't want to do that. At least not right now, maybe not ever. So I did an honest jam just now. Doesn't mean it's perfect. In fact, I'm changing chords. I'm changing, cables in the middle of the jam because I don't have money to buy $30 cables that are this long. So I have to use old cables, and sometimes they glitch and they're not really good quality. So sometimes my sound suffers or things like that. So I have to change cables right in the middle of the gig. Well, so what? It's real life here, guys. I mean, I'm not a mannequin here. So anyway, and now about the music itself. To state a little bit about that, about speaking to not knowing nothing about music, knowing more than zero about music. I've kind of feel like I've done my homework, but I didn't really feel that way until I analyzed Yngwie Malmsteen. I mean, I know when I did Far Beyond the Sun and Black Star, I think people get flipped when what they hear is too drastic of a change, but it doesn't mean it's drastic within you. It just means it's another side of you just hadn't shown yet. I'd been working on classical music for like forever. If it wasn't for classical music, blues and jazz and country wouldn't even exist. They had to start somewhere, and that was classical music. If you don't understand classical music, ultimately your ass is still in the wind at some point. You need classical music is the start of Western music. Get that, and then everything else falls into place. And I was meditating on my walk the other day, a few days ago, whatever, and I finally got, like I said on one video, I finally understand the augmented second, and that's the interval of a harmonic minor scale. Harmonic major too, but let's just stick with harmonic minor for now. And that nailed that was the final nail in the coffin, because I realized, I get all the scales now. I get the classical scales. The major scale's cool, and that's the main scale in music. But then there's the harmonic minor scale, and if you don't get that, you can't really use the major effectively because you don't know what the minor is. And if you don't know the augmented second, you can't really understand the minor scale, harmonic minor scale, especially. So you're stuck out. You're still flailing because you don't understand the augmented second, and that one little detail keeps you from unlocking music. And then it just got unlocked the other day when I realized it on a walk. I figured it out, and then I learned. I didn't just learn. Yes, I learned Black Star and Far Beyond the Sun by ear, but I didn't just leave it at that. I didn't just learn the notes Yngwie played. I went back and listened to not just the notes, but the chords, the harmony that came behind it. And then I didn't just learn that. I studied it and analyzed why that fits in Western music. Why I could go on about it right now. Maybe I'll do a lesson about that. I'll do a lesson on Far Beyond the Sun. How about that? Should I do that in a minute? Yeah, I didn't know what to do the rest of my night here. And it's not hump day, lesson day, but so what? I can still do a lesson, though. I'm going to do in a little bit. I think I'm going to do a lesson on Black Star and Far Beyond the Sun. Just what I think about it, and I'm going to give you guys a lesson. And if you guys didn't like to hear it that much, or did, maybe if I teach you the song, you might appreciate it, and it might make you go, "Oh, that is cool." Maybe I will listen to it. I don't know. Maybe you'll hate it, but let me do that in a little bit. Let me give a lesson on those, because when you learn the concept of, like what I just said, Yngwie Malmsteen's songs, then you know how to do that yourself in your own music, and then you don't have any. You're not tethered to a pole. You're not like, I can't do this because I don't know this. Once you understand the concept, you can make your own music, and it may not be perfect, like Eric said in his interview, but it can sound good to you, and it can make others feel good, and it can feel good to make it. And no, the video I just did wasn't perfect, but it was me honestly just jamming. And I think I integrated blues, rock, classical, some shred, some tapping, some blues. I just let what comes out come out. Don't gatekeep yourself. Don't say, well, how am I doing now? Or something. I don't know. Just make a decision while you're playing to play what you wish to play at the moment and leave it at that. And that's what I tried to do with that last jam. Musicians make decisions. They make decisions on what note to play and what rhythm to play it in, and blah 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 blah. Well, trust those decisions at some point and just let the music happen. And that's what I tried in this last jam. So and I know one thing I wanted to say. And I've gotten results. I've noticed results can be different and weird about this kind of thing. Letting go of trying to control things, like letting go of. I just unblocked all my haters, or if they are haters, whatever they're called. Everyone's unblocked, and I just did a freeform jam without thought of anything, without thought of what I was going to play or anything. And before I go, I want to give an anecdote about that. When I was at Harvey College of Science and Engineering, I had to take rhetoric. This is English. They called it English in high school. It's writing skills, words, rhetoric, English language. And I could never get an A in a paper. I could never get an A, an A as in, I always got B's of some sort, maybe even C's. And then one day, the last paper of the whole year, I just didn't care anymore. I was like, I don't care anymore. Screw this. I grabbed Hamlet, because that's the paper I was writing on. And I just grabbed Hamlet and a pencil and went to the library. And no, that's the computer room, and typed it out, whatever I felt about it. Just to hell with this. I'm just doing this. And I typed it out for like 2 hours and I was done. Turned it in like, I don't care. I don't care if she flunks me out of school. Got an A-. That's the best paper you've ever done. That's what you need to do. Sometimes not caring, just trusting the process gets the best result, even though you're not thinking of it at the time as the best result. Another example of that, in all my grade school pictures, every year they'd have picture day. And I always thought, how am I looking? How are my teeth? How's my hair? Blah, blah, blah. I always cared so much about it. And finally, in 8th grade, I didn't anymore. I didn't care that day. I didn't care. I just didn't care how my picture came out. I just said, I'm going to do me. Took the picture. It's still like on my, in my room in a picture frame that I made in 8th grade shop class. My picture, that 8th grade picture, is still up in my room somewhere. And it's the best picture I took in the first, in all my grade school years. That's the best picture I took. Best picture. Only one where I just looked like me. And in the end of the result, I want to do that now with my music and my channel. I want to do that. I don't care picture, or that I don't care anymore Hamlet paper. I just want to not care right now and just go do and play what I feel. And if nobody likes it, so fucking what? I did me, I did my process, and maybe I enjoyed making it. Someone said in the 80s, I don't know who it was, but someone said, if you can't do something well, enjoy doing it badly. If I really suck, if I really do suck, then let me enjoy sucking. Love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.